Welcome, everybody, to our city council meeting for Tuesday, March 18th. We will get started with our invocation and pledge, which will be led by Councilman Jackson.
Pray with me. Our Father in heaven, we come before you tonight, humbled and comforted by your presence. As we gather to conduct the business of our community, we're thankful for your hand of protection and love on us. We are blessed here in Farmers Branch, and we don't take that for granted. We ask that you continue to reign in our thoughts, discussions, and decisions. For we desire your outcomes, trust in your plan, and seek to serve your purpose with joy in our heart. All these things, Lord, we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
He can if he's, look him up. He's down there. I'll give everybody time to come down, come up. So next up is our ceremonial items, and item G1 is the presentation from the Texas Public Pool Council to Margaret Young for the 2025 Cindy Halloran Distinguished Service Award. So on behalf of the City of Farmers Branch and the City Council, I'm honored to recognize and be part of the presentation of the Margaret Young for the 2025 Texas Texas Public Pool Council Distinguished Service Award. Let me give you a little background on this. This award is given to an individual whose activities best represent unselfish devotion in service to the aquatics profession. For over 40 years, Margaret Young has been an active participant and vibrant leader for Parks and Recreation, and is a member of the Parks and Recreation Board, spending 13 years as its chair. Her desire to make Farmers Branch a better living place and a determination to bring dreams to fruition have often benefited our community. She is a staunch advocate for those who might not otherwise speak for themselves, always remembering that recreation opportunities are for all abilities and income levels. So, Margaret, I was used to calling her Miss Young because she was my teacher at one time. Again, my pleasure to present you with this award, this very lovely award. It says the Cindy Halloran Distinguished Service Award, presented to Margaret Young.
Never turn down an opportunity to speak. But what I want to say is this award is your award. It's the community of Farmers Branch that has supported Parks and Recreation and the things that we stand for. It's the people like these ladies back here that use the pool and invite their friends. It's all of you that use our parks, that support us when we ask you to help us. And so to this, I give you this award. Thank you.
Robert Diaz, Parks and Rec Director. Margaret is just a staunch advocate for Parks and Rec. We love seeing that the natatorium is named after her. After I came back from working in the city and noticed that that was what the pool was named after, I was pretty proud. I have some stories with Margaret when I worked part-time many, many years ago. She is also a staunch volleyball player, and I think you still play, correct? Still plays when she can, but we appreciate all she does, and I appreciate that she was able to get this award, and our team was able to get this for her, so thank you very much.
Ex-student, I won't tell you.
Next up are our items of community interest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Grisales. I'm the Public Information Officer for the City of Farmers Branch. And we have 4 community items. Number 1, save the date for the city's multicultural celebration. Explore fascinating cultures and learn more about rich traditions at the city's Gateway to the Globe event this Saturday, March the 29th, from 3 to 10 p.m. at the Farmers Branch Historical Park. This free event will feature an international marketplace with exhibits, food trucks, and live performances, as well as activities for children. Visit on our social media so you can find out more about this event. Number 2, shredding event returns to City Hall. This Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. at City Hall, Farmers Branch residents are invited to take advantage of this free shredding event hosted by the city's Sustainability and Public Health Department. Residents can securely discard household documents that are free from binders, clips, and magnets. Number 3, switch together and save. Are you interested in having solar panels installed but don't know where to start? Sign up for this year's Solar Switch program to receive an offer from a qualified installer. The Farmers Branch Solar Switch is a participant in the Switch Together group buying program, which helps lower the cost of solar panel installation. Learn more about this program on our social media. And lastly, sign up for CDE News. As always, you can sign up for ECD for news by scanning the QR code on the screen. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Next up are our public comments, and I have one person who has signed up to speak, and that is Alicia Fisher. So when you come up, please state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes, and the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Here, if you would pull the microphone, yeah.
Thanks. My name is Alicia Fisher. I live at 13517 Rawhide Parkway and wanted to come and kind of address the sale of property that's being discussed at the corner of Josie and Golfing Green related to, I think, the 1 acre parcel there. That has been in contention for a while, the last year to 18 months. A previous sale was discussed with another gentleman. I believe there's another current buyer or offer on the table, and I wanted you to implore you to make sure you are making the best decision for the city and the citizens, most notably the neighbors within that area. As a neighbor who lives directly across the street from that location, some of that contention has been related to a proposal to the other acreage around that 1 acre property regarding townhomes and high-density living. I do not agree with that, and I know several of my neighbors don't as well. We were not informed rightfully so, due to legal reasons, because we don't live within 200 feet of that property. But I do live directly across from it, and we weren't informed of the original plans, even though it is publicly made notable through the city. We missed that original planning and zoning meeting, and I did come and speak last year at the city council regarding that. And just want to make sure that the city is doing their full investment in that property and making the right decision, that it does go to the potential bidder or person who is making the best offer, that hopefully eliminates high density in that area. I understand it's already zoned for multifamily living, duplex. There's currently 21 duplexes in that area that equate to 41 homes. The proposal for this site surrounding that current 1 acre area is an additional 31 homes that are townhomes, and that's just going to create high density in a neighborhood that's already single family and multifamily, and will create major issues with safety, et cetera. So just want to bring that to everyone's attention. Not sure everyone's aware in the public that that's up for discussion, but want to make sure the city's doing their due diligence and kind of go in the proper direction and reviewing all the options on the table and going from there. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. That is all the folks that we've had signed up to speak. Anybody else sign up for public comment? Seeing none. We'll move on to our consent agenda. Somebody like to make a motion on consent agenda?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Mayor, I'll second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. Very good, thank you. Consent agenda is approved unanimously. Next up is our regular agenda item, which is one item this evening, L1. Consider approving Resolution 2025-041, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Strayhorn Project Developments, LLC, for the Oak Brook Water Meter Replacement Project in the amount of $264,074, and take appropriate action.
Mayor, council members, good evening. Ray Silvarez, Director of Public Works. So happy to bring here before you the Oak Brook Water Meter Project Replacement project that we've been working on for the last couple months. We talked about it briefly during our last study session regarding the bids that we've gotten, and so I'll run you real quick just as a recap to what we're doing from our last conversation. We had 5 bids on this project, ranging from $264,000 to $471,000. Again, this project is to take it's 5 master meters that are going to be converted into 156 individual water meters for the HOA. And a couple of years ago, the city agreed to work with the HOA to kind of make this project happen for them. And we've discussed that in the past with all the study sessions. And here before you are the bids. On the right-hand side of the screen before you, you see the list of bids from the lowest amount to the highest amount. We did check the backgrounds and verified the references that the Strayhorn Project Development provided, and staff is recommending approval for Strayhorn Project Development. And that's all I have, unless we have some questions.
Very good, thank you. Councilman Neal.
Just a quick question, Ray. If this were approved tonight, can you tell me when the project would begin?
So
and how
still,
long it would take?
It would take at least 2. So once we get it approved, we'll have to sit with the contractor, get the contract signed and all that ready to go. Typically, about 2 to 3 weeks is when we schedule the pre-construction meeting. And at that point, he'll let us know his project approach and the timeline looking forward. Once we develop that timeline, we'll present it to, we can work with the residents at the HOA and let them know what's going to happen, how it's going to be phased and working. So we're looking about 3 weeks or so before we get rolling on the project.
And that would be 3 or 4 weeks from tonight, or?
From tonight,
if
yes.
approved.
If approved tonight,
obviously.
yes. We'll get the contract signed, and then as soon as we get them back executed, we'll schedule the pre-construction meeting.
And just for some clarification on the pricing, as I was looking through the notes, the city would be contributing the 90,000 as previously agreed, along with the water meters themselves as the part of the package. And the second aspect of that is that the HOA would be paying for the remaining amount of 175,000 plus or minus a few dollars. Is that correct?
Correct. So what we discussed during the last series of the study session was to include the 90,000 and then also add the water meter at no cost to the project. And then that's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Ray. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Roman?
No questions, thank you.
Councilwoman Bennett?
No questions, thank you.
Councilman Reed?
Nothing for me.
Councilman Jackson?
No questions, Mayor.
Very good. This item is marked for action.
Mayor, I move to approve Resolution 2025-041 as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. If you would, please indicate your vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That is all of our regular agenda items for this evening. We are still we still have an item in executive session that we need to discuss. So what I'm going to do now, since we did not finish our study session, we will recess our regular meeting. We're going to go back to study session right now with item C4 and do C4 and C5. Then we will recess back to executive session. So next up is item C4, receive an update from the mayor and council members regarding board liaison information from outside organizations and other meetings attended. Councilman Roman.
Yes, I do have an update on a trip that I went to, but I'm going to defer my comments until the next time. I got back from my trip in DC and was immediately called to go to Austin, so I didn't have much time to put everything together in the middle of all the things going on over the weekend. But I did want to share that the mayor and I both traveled to Austin yesterday to speak in opposition of a bill that was going to seemingly siphon some money out of our city. And we thought it was important to immediately go because they were going to be discussing it. That's House Bill 134. And essentially what it's doing, it's changing the way that sales taxes are going to be collected. And so instead of kind of an origin-based system, it's going to destination. So the taxes are going to travel to and be remitted to the city where a package is going to rather than where it originated from. And so that's a major change in the way that we collect our taxes. It's been the system for many decades. And so I think the economic impact from us is about $5 million. But what I do want to mention is that that doesn't include any future impact of any economic deals that we have kind of falling apart and businesses leaving either to another locality or to another state, nor does that include any estimates about what sort of economic development that we would normally be able to pursue, but now we're not because we wouldn't have the same leverage that we do. So $5 million is a big deal for us. To give into perspective what that means, last year for our budget, we had a 2.5 cent reduction, I think is what it was. And $5 million is essentially a 5 cent reduction in our budget if we were reviewing everything again, which is quite significant, and that impacts our ability to provide a lot of our services, run our operations, public safety, things like that. So that's why we immediately got in a car and transported ourselves over to Austin, and we were there nearly all day, but we were there with Coppell, we were there with Carrollton, and Round Rock, a few other cities, consultants, attorneys were there to testify against it. Everyone was against it. There was 2 people who were sort of didn't really have a stance. They were neutral. Thank you. But I think it's important that not only we as your representatives take an initiative to try and ask our other representatives to vote against this, but I think it's also important for us as residents to reach out to them and make as much noise as possible to let them know how impactful this is to our city and encourage them to vote no. Reach out to the elected officials who are part of the Ways and Means Committee, reach out to our local elected officials and anybody else who will listen because it's that important. So with that, I will save my comments on my trip to National League of Cities until next time, once I've had an opportunity to gather all my thoughts on that trip. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman? Councilman Jackson?
No updates, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Neal?
Just the ladies' luncheon, which I assume you'll mention. The ladies' luncheon you and
Yeah.
I attended. I'll let you mention that. But
Okay.
Otherwise, nothing. Thank you.
Okay. And let me just add a couple of things to what Councilman Roman said regarding our trip yesterday. This is real important. And when we put, I know several of us put a plea out to our residents, constituents, to make their voice heard directly down in Austin with our representatives. The Ways and Means Committee is once again trying to bring this bill forward. It would have devastating effects on many communities. As the councilman said, we anticipate that the impact Farmers Branch would be losing $5 million of our sales tax. And sales tax is what gets figured into our city budget along with property tax. That's the money we take in. And Coppell said they're anticipating a $30 million hit to their budget. So, you know, I asked the committee directly, are any of you all going to come and tell my residents why we had to close this particular venue or that particular venue? I'm not saying which ones because I don't want to spark fear in anybody, but it's that serious. And our city manager was there with us and assistant city manager. So we weren't alone, but there was a room full of people who spoke against this. Two were neutral, Dallas and Prosper, for whatever reason. But we would all lose. And as Mayor Babick of Carrollton and myself brought up, you know, 1 cent of our sales tax goes to DART. DART would be severely impacted also if this legislation gets passed. So there's just so many tentacles to this thing, and we do not believe that this is good for business. It's certainly not good for local cities. And if this does make it out of committee down there, then we have implored our state representatives and state senators to vote against this. So that's that. On a lighter note, several of us did attend the Farmers Branch Women Club's luncheon, which was, it's always a fun event. And Councilman Neal's there, Councilman, you were going to be there, but you weren't. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, we had a good time. It was fun. It happened to be on the same day as the MetroCrest Chamber Awards, and hopefully they'll do a better job of coordinating next year so they don't have a competing event at the same time, because I can't eat 2 lunches at the same time. But we went to the MetroCrest Chamber Awards, which were given out for rising stars of the city, of various cities, and our rising star was Jeffrey Ross, who is now our HR director. You might recognize him in the bright pink jacket out there. So congratulations to him. Some other things that I took part in, Did you know that we have a motorcycle museum in Farmers Branch? Most probably don't. Haas Moto Museum is in Farmers Branch on Branchview, not Branchview, oh, crud, I didn't write down the street. It's on, right off of Midway. Beltwood Parkway. This thing is incredible. You need to go by there and see it. It really is just an awesome display of motorcycles from the early days of two-wheel transportation. I can't tell you how many millions of dollars worth of custom motorcycles they have in there, some of which are antique, some are pretty futuristic, and everything in between. There's got to be at least 300 bikes in there easily, and it really is something to see, and hopefully we can get some pictures out on that. As many of you know, we had DCAD, which is the Dallas Central Appraisal District, was here in this room and hosted a town hall meeting. Thank you, Councilwoman Bennett, for inviting them. Council was here. Quite a number of residents were here to ask questions and learn more about the appraisal system. I do believe they will be coming back with some additional information and more things to share with us. Of course, transportation and mobility are always on our mind, and I attended our monthly Regional Mobility Commission meeting to talk about how we're going to get around, not just now, but 25 years in the future, because what we're trying to do as a region is build out transportation infrastructure for roughly 12 million people living here, not the 8 that are here now. So this is really, really important. I did attend the MetroCrest Hospital Authority retreat. This was an event that they had where they had all the organizations that they donate money to come and make presentations. And I was most curious to hear Woven Clinic, who not only MetroCrest Hospital Authority support them, but City of Farmers Branch supports MetroCrest also. And then some of the other organizations. And so very, very interesting. One of our neighbors, Mid-City's neighbor, Representative Salman Bohani, had a dinner it was an interfaith dinner for the Metroplex area. And I did go along with a number of other mayors to that. Very interesting. Heard faith leaders from a bunch of different faiths speak, tell what they do, what their faith is about. And I thought that was very interesting. Of course, the Regional Transportation Commission, again, closely tied to the Mobility Commission, but regional transportation is, again, something that's very important, and they are taking a more active role now in our discussions with DART and trying to figure out how is DART going to serve its 13 member cities in the future, as well as trying to recruit new member cities to the DART system. Councilman Roman and I had a meeting last week with Builders of Hope to talk about where do we go next with respect to attainable housing. And Builders of Hope has built 5 homes in the city that are a really good example of how this partnership with the city is helping folks that are in need. And then in addition, we're looking at what's the next step? Where do we go from here? And I think that's going to be an ongoing discussion with City Council here very shortly. And that's all I had. So that's it for item C4. Next up is item C5, which is to review and discuss future agenda items. Councilman Roman.
Yes, I have two. The first is I'd like to discuss a potential ordinance to address parked vehicles that store junk and trash on the vehicle. The second is I'd like to discuss the Builders of Hope lots and potentially taking some action in the near future.
Very good, thank you. Councilwoman?
I have two. Requesting publicly for DCAD, the valuation session to come back. We had tax 101, the next one is the valuation session.
Okay.
So, and that needed to be requested on public, so
Right.
that's what I'm doing. With the budget coming forward pretty quickly, I'd like to discuss the life cycle of the fleet, get an update on the life cycle of the fleet and where they are with it, so we know what we're going to be looking at for next year's budget, to include how many times they've been serviced and serviced for what in the last 12 months. So we understand that they have exceeded their life cycle and they are needing replacement.
Councilman Reed?
Excuse me. Yes, I just have one item. I want a future agenda item to reconsider approving a calendar of events for recognition by the City Council with the following changes. No proclamations. Include the previously considered proclamations as part of the acknowledgement list, to include acknowledging city services, for example, Fire Prevention Month, Park and Rec Month, as instructed by the city manager, and to recognize the various ancestries of Farmers Branch. Our goal is to find a national or state, like a .gov calendar to use as the source for the various ancestry heritage options, so it's not left solely to the discretion of the council.
Anything else?
That'll do it.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Jackson?
I have one, Mayor. I'd like to request a review and discussion regarding council travel and expense policy, as well as the process associated with determining council travel and expenses.
Very good. Councilman Neal?
I don't have anything. And last time I added 6 items to city managers. I think he got 6 more tonight, so I don't have anything.
You're still working on your stuff. Okay. I have one item, and that is I'd like to have a discussion about medians on roadways and their upkeep, or presentation and upkeep. So that will that will conclude our study session. And so now City Council will take a brief recess and go back to executive session. We still have something that we need to deliberate, and then we will be back after that to finish up final for the night. So thank you all for coming. And we are back. Thank you very much. We have no action to report or take as a result of executive session. And so with that, no additional business. We will adjourn at 7:25. Thank you all very much.